Sacramento Natural Foods Co-op is part of a larger food community that includes farmers, wholesalers, manufacturers, shoppers, and the earth. We purchase the highest quality organically grown produce and emphasize direct buying relationships with local small family farms. We are proud to offer a marketplace for locally grown organic produce and to serve as a link that allows shoppers to support local small family farms. This supports sustainable agriculture, preserves rural life, protects natural resources, and provides our customers with simply delicious food. We encourage you to be a part of the solution by voting with your food dollars for an ecologically sound, economically fair, and more peaceful world. So that's our kind of overall guiding principles, and then that informs decisions where, as a marketing manager, education manager, I can go, hey, let's have a partnership with, let's have Soilborn and the food bank, and let's go out and do some distribution, where then Soilborn is bringing, you know, wonderful produce to the table. We're maybe bringing a cook that's teaching them how to prepare what they're getting, and then we're collaborating with our food bank. We don't have, we're not bringing a ton of money into the picture, but a lot of energy, labor, like we bring what we can to various situations. And in terms of the two, farms that are represented here, the way that I sort of looked at it is we might not buy tons and tons, from these farms, especially not Soilborn at the time that we started buying was like 1 acre, so clearly not a big supplier, but they're the closest farm to our store in the whole area, so there was an educational opportunity there to sort of use that to tell the story of what goes on at a lot of other small farms that we buy from, because so many times I could talk and talk and talk or train staff, and it's like, if we could come out and bring a group of our staff and walk around Annie and Jeff's farm, I mean, there were no more words needed, like people get it. And so in the situation with Soilborn, people can actually jump in the car and 15 minutes later walk and see broccoli growing there. And maybe that's not the broccoli that actually ends up on their plate, but it has a similar story, or at least makes them start to think like, wow, there isn't plastic wrap all over everything. There's not like a bunch of, tubs with, skull and crossbones, and people aren't wearing, safety gear out in the fields. What's going on? So just that aspect of having the connection with the farmers, it's like the approach has been for us to get people to ask the questions. Where does my food come from? Who's growing it? How's it being grown? And why is it being grown that way? And we just continually repeat that message, but in many ways. It might be an article in the newsletter. It might be an end cap in the store. It might be on our website. It might be a presentation. So just, we're constantly staying with, using this as an overall guiding principle and just hitting it, in every possible way that we can. Annie mentioned coming into the store. It's hard for growers to, they're working, they're doing everything, but, they make a point to come, and if we have a number of them we're working with, and Annie's able to come a couple times a year, we're starting to, her farm is branded within our store. People know about it, and we have another really cool project, which is about preserving small family farms. And so little by little, even just the co-op bringing that mouthpiece and just communicating that to more people, and then Annie will tell her story. It's like just it's building on the same basic core set of values that we've been doing the whole time, but finding different ways to talk about it. So it's interesting and brings people along.
Can I ask a question? I was just wondering. I mean, we have 2 co-ops in our area that we deliver to, and they're very different. How much of your percentage goes to marketing? I mean, you've got a huge marketing staff. What she's talking about is that's a lot of energy, and so I don't know if other organizations can afford that kind of time staff, but it makes a huge difference as a grower. But I'm just curious to know.
So it's a great question, because so in our marketplace, and this is okay back when people did get the newspaper. Let's say I'm just going to use a newspaper ad for an example. Putting an ad in Sacramento Beef for one day, maybe about $4,500. One time, one shot, an ad this big. I think the whole advertising budget, the whole budget we had to work with in a month was at a high point. It's not even far from there now. It's maybe $10,000. But for $4,500, you can do a lot of education. You can do a lot of really interesting things in the store point of purchase. So we might opt to, and this is a really great thing that we do, and we do it every month, but we have different growers come and also suppliers. So we might have someone from, Strauss Family Creamery, but we really focus on all of our small farmers. They come in, we get people from each department of our store, they get to come for lunch with the grower. The growers just talk a little bit about their story, and then I post some questions, and the able to answer, and we might have like several of the managers, we'll have someone from the accounting department, cashiers. The idea is to deepen the connection within our store to the people that are supplying our food. So that, and like even with Veritable, they've supported our demo programs for years. Karen knows probably a bunch of people at the co-op in different positions, not just, you know, maybe one person. So she, you know, there are relationships that go deep, so that keeps things going. But I think it's kind of, we choose to invest in education, and the thing that makes the difference is the person at the helm of the Sacramento Natural Foods Co-op, he has the love and passion. I've worked under other people there when it wasn't like that, and then the resources are going elsewhere. Someone's like, you need to be on the radio every day or something. It's like, so it's really about, you know, the people that are in whatever, you're working on a hub, a nonprofit, I think at our store, the people agreeing this is what we're doing. And so we are just committed to educating about where our food comes from. And you know, if you look at it, other products that we sell in our store, they have marketing dollars and people with making a lot of money to put the right words on the packaging. And it's like, I feel that in our organization, our energy needs to be going to promote the healthiest thing that we have in the store and a very meaningful product. And so we put our energy there, whether it's flyers, recipes, demos, you know, just all the projects that we do. And we're a lot into partnerships. So I try to create something out of nothing by pulling together passionate people that have something to offer.
Well, this sounds great, and I'm sure you're all figuring out how you're going to do this. But I'm interested in knowing, you know, what's hard about it. What have been some of the barriers? I mean, Karen, what's it like working with all these small farmers and keeping the story intact and keeping all the information flow going to the food co-op and keeping the prices reasonable and on? What are the barriers to this idea?
Well, you know, Janet actually spoke to one of the barriers, which is change of personnel. Change of personnel in either organization can really put a bump into things, and then you end up having to reestablish. And we've had that happen, and it was, you know, it was definitely a challenging moment for both of our businesses.
Can I say one thing about that? Because
yeah.
what really helped it was that they did not stop when they hit the bump because of a produce manager change. They reached out. So Veritable came and talked to me, to our general manager, or we would have been going down the road a while and not even really realizing what was happening. So they cared about the relationship and made an effort.
Or we could have just gotten our feelings hurt and turned away and gone the other direction. But, you know, the relationship is so important to us. But just to answer your question about some of the, you know, the difficulties of working with small growers, yeah, it's, you know, we have to spend time, our buyers spend time, you know, Boo spends an enormous amount of time talking with new and emerging growers, walking them through how to do proper packaging, proper labeling, you know, how to do post-harvest handling, what's required to get the product to a, you know, a package that can be moved through a wholesaler such as ourselves. And we've done that for the entire 37 years that we've been in business. And there are still growers who are emerging who need this kind of help. So it's ongoing.
Miriam?
I'm just wondering, Karen, if you can speak directly to kind of, in terms of your bottom line, the relationship between that and all the energy you put into cultivating these relationships and you know, being adjustable to when the peaches are actually needed to go through your routes and things like that. If you could talk about that,
you know, we're
just
not,
in terms of replicability.
we're not a bottom line driven company. I know that might sound, you know, really not authentic, but it's true. We're a mission driven company, and so we, you know, our mission is really to look to support the growers. You know, we try to create a handshake between, you know, the grower and the customer whenever we possibly can. And that's not to say that, you know, we don't need to, I mean, we need to keep our company viable. We employ over 100 people, and we have a very high standard for our entry-level pay. So we have to keep our company viable. We really operate on educating our customers, first of all, educating our staff, educating our customers about the values that really drive, you know, our business, and hope that